Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. I'm about to say something that isn't said enough, and that is guys get eating disorders too. Eating disorders are often associated with females. It's a female disease, and it's not talked about. No one really likes to talk about or admit that guys can have low self-esteem, they can have body image issues, and they can develop eating disorders. In fact, studies show that about 25% of eating disorder sufferers are male. Studies also show that about 50% of those who suffer from binge eating disorder are in fact male. Eating disorders often go undiagnosed in males because of the stigma that surrounds them. Basically, eating disorders are considered a girl problem. Guys just don't get eating disorders. I've even heard people say that guys can't get eating disorders, like they're incapable of developing low self-esteem, or they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see. Apparently that is a problem that only girls can have. The sad fact is, even if an eating disorder does develop in a guy, they don't talk about it because they're embarrassed by it, and therefore it goes undiagnosed. Society basically says guys can't get eating disorders, and if they do, they need to stay quiet about it. They shouldn't admit to that because it makes them less of a man, or something like that. These are all complete lies. We need to start talking about guys with eating disorders just as much as we talk about girls with eating disorders. We need to draw equal attention to this issue, regardless of who is suffering from it. By doing so, men can finally seek and get the proper help they need to recover. Having an eating disorder as a man does not make you less of a man. It doesn't emasculate you. It doesn't make you girly. It doesn't make you weak. So what is the biggest cause of eating disorders in men? It all comes down to body dissatisfaction. Body dissatisfaction in guys often come from a desire to be muscular, to be more fit, to have a lean physique, to have the physical appearances of a real man. The most vulnerable of men to develop eating disorders are athletes, specifically weightlifters, wrestlers, gymnasts, dancers, jockeys, and bodybuilders. In these sports, there is an emphasis on body weight class and aesthetics. They are driven by a twisted perception of masculinity, and they lack a proper understanding of muscle bulk, eating, and exercise practices. Whether you are male or female, the ultimate reason as to why an eating disorder can develop is very complex and specific to the individual. However, factors like genetics, psychological development, personal experience, and influences from society can play a role in the development of an eating disorder. So there are some risk factors that also play a part in whether or not an eating disorder develops. Some of the more common risk factors are perfectionism, bullying, dieting culture, trauma, childhood obesity, and that's just to name a few. However, men are exposed to different messages put out in the world that women just don't often see. And those are the following. 1. There's only one acceptable body type for men. The ideal body shape for men portrayed in the media and entertainment is lean with a muscular physique. Men need to be in control. Men are expected to take charge. There's a lot of displacement of feelings with men. Sometimes when a man feels out of control in one aspect of their life, or he has an issue with something, he displaces that anxiety and lack of control onto his body. Being able to take control of that and decide what he puts in his body, what he eats, how much exercise he does. For men, because for the longest time, men, are the head of the household. Men should have all the answers. Men need to, men are the less emotional creature, I guess you could say. And so they can't lose it. It's a little bit more acceptable for a woman to be emotional or overly emotional, while men need to keep that inside. So if you bottle up your emotions, you kind of have to have a release somewhere. So for some men, it turns into an obsession with eating or lack of eating and exercise. The third message is you are what you look like. Men strive for the perfect body, hoping that by achieving that, they will be successful in other areas of their life, such as dating, getting a good job, and being desired by society's standards. And the fourth message that men are told, it's not masculine to have an eating disorder. Men don't want to seem weak, so there is a delay in diagnosis and treatment. There seems to be a lack of support when it comes to men with eating disorders. These messages do not properly reflect the reality of physical and mental health in men. Always remember, eating disorders are not just a female disease. Knowing what to look for plays a huge role in whether or not the sufferer can finally come to terms with having an eating disorder and they can properly seek medical help. The problem with eating disorders is the person is pretty clever and they're smart about hiding the signs. So it's about looking deeper and really paying attention to their behavior, what they say, what they do, how they interact with other people. Maybe they don't interact with other people. So it's very important to keep an eye out for any of these warning signs. Some warning signs are an obsession with bodybuilding or weightlifting or just exercise in general, to the point where that obsession completely takes over their life. Working out when injured, lowered testosterone, anxiety or stress over missing a workout, muscular weakness, decreased interest in sex or a fear of sex, using steroids. Some physical warning signs are rapid weight loss or frequent weight changes, decreased libido, fainting or dizziness, often feeling tired and not sleeping well, lethargic and having low energy, feeling cold even in warm weather, swollen cheeks or jaws, calluses on knuckles, damage to teeth, or bad breath. And those 4 signs are attributed to vomiting. Some psychological warning signs are obsessed with eating, food, body shape, weight, and exercise, feeling anxious when it comes time to eat, feeling out of control around food, black and white thinking. Basically, this means you're labeling things as good or bad. Feeling not good enough based off body image, having a distorted body image, using food as a source of comfort, or using food as self-punishment. And the behavioral warning signs are using dieting practices such as counting calories, fasting, and avoiding certain food groups, eating in private and avoiding eating around other people, evidence of binge eating. This could be that the person is hiding food, or you've noticed that food disappears randomly, frequent trips to the bathroom during or directly after a meal, vomiting or using laxatives, diuretics, enemas, or appetite suppressants, compulsive or excessive exercise, sudden changes in food preferences, obsessive repeating rituals around food, repeating the same rigid practices over and over again, sensitive to comments about body image, body weight, food, and exercise, secretive behavior around food. This could be maybe hiding uneaten food or lying and saying that you've already eaten or saying that you're not hungry. A lot of signs are overlooked, but they can be drawn to the surface through observation and conversation. Unfortunately, in our current society, over-exercising and building massive amounts of muscle is basically viewed as being healthy in a man, and it's encouraged. The truth is, these activities can indicate a severe disorder and can lead to major health problems, especially mental health problems. This doesn't mean that every bodybuilder has an issue, but they need to be careful and aware of the risks that they're putting themselves in. And everyone who works out needs to be a little bit more self-aware and aware of their intentions. Is it possible for men to recover? The simple answer is yes. But I think in order for it to be easier for men to recover, we need to start talking about men having eating disorders in the first place. There is a stigma about men having an eating disorder. Like I said, it's viewed as weak, it's girly, it's a girl disease. How could a guy ever develop it? Men are supposed to be strong. I think men need to know that it's okay to let their guard down, to show their weakness, and to say, hey, I need help. The more we talk about men with eating disorders, the more likely they are to come to terms and admit that they have a problem and that they can get the proper medical attention. Women are so privileged to be able to go to the doctor and they can be handed so much information on eating disorders and how to recover and the proper treatment. Men don't get that. They're sometimes not laughed at, but they are not always taken seriously. And we need to start taking everyone seriously equally, whether you're male, whether you're female. Anyone can develop an eating disorder. An eating disorder can take over anyone's life. And we need to start saying that. We need to start talking about it. And we need to start bringing awareness to the fact that it's not just a female disease. So that is the video for today. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and taking the time to watch it. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. For more videos about eating disorders, diet, health, and nutrition, please subscribe. If there's any men who feel like they might be suffering from an eating disorder or might know a guy friend or a guy in their life that might be suffering from an eating disorder and have any questions or comments, or you have your own ideas of how you could maybe help someone or how you as a sufferer could use some help, feel free to leave a comment or anything. Anything is welcome. And I will see you next time. Bye!